Let's make a 3D tractor. Hi, and welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey. I also go by Dinosaur Mama, and today we are going to create a 3D tractor out of paper, and also our little paper cow. This free SVG file can be found below in the description. I'll have a link to the blog post which will teach you how to download this SVG file. I have over 750 free SVG files over on my blog, and I love sharing new files with you all the time. So if you're ready to get started, let's head over into Cricut Design Space to set up our file. All right, so when you upload your SVG file, this is how it's going to look. It's a little bit funny. The first thing that I suggest you do is ungroup everything. So I have this sectioned off into a few pieces. And so I have the trailer here. Oop, don't do that. Don't resize it. I have the two hitches here, which we have in between. I have the full tractor, which is all of these pieces. And then I have my cow. And they are all grouped together after you ungroup everything. The first thing I would do is, if you want to have multiple trailers, is to grab just these two, the hitches and the trailer, and duplicate. And you can move it right down here. That's the first thing I would do, is make sure you have as many trailers as you want. I'm going to do 2 trailers and the 1 tractor. So my next suggestion is to go through and change all your score lines. So the first thing I'm going to do is, on my hitch, I'm going to ungroup again, just because I feel like it's easier here. And on this first one, I'm going to change this line to a score line. Then what I'm going to go back and do is grab this one right here that we changed to the score line, and I'm going to make sure to attach it. Now you can regroup these if you'd like. You don't have to. You can also duplicate after you do this if you don't want to do it to every single one. Totally up to you. Now for our 3D tractor, we don't want to attach everything together because it's going to change the color of everything. So I'm going to ungroup again, and then I'm going to go down to where our tractor is, and this box here I'm going to change to score, and again I'm going to attach with the paper clip. Make sure you're attaching, or it's going to put the score line on a blank sheet of paper. So we're going to do that again here, and this is for the tractor, not the trailer. So this is all grouped together still. So again, you're going to ungroup everything because you don't want to change the colors. And then I'm going to go through and I'm going to change everything to score that needs to be changed. So we have our first score line here with the top of our tractor, and make sure you go back and attach, just like I've been saying over and over. I promise that'll be my last time that I say it. And I'm scrolling down here. On my roof, you want to make sure that you're grabbing this and changing this to a score line as well, and then attaching. And then you also have these two here. So this one here, I grabbed it. Oop, I'm going to change it to score and attach. And then this one I'm going to have to ungroup and then just grab my tractor. And again, I'm going to score and then attach. All right, and I think there's only one more that I have to do, which is these top ones here. Make sure you're doubling the hitches for them if you are making more than one trailer, because you need to have the hitch to attach it to the trailer ahead of it. All right, once you have everything changed to score lines that needs to be changed, again, that'll be the hood of the tractor body, the top here in the cab, and then the trailer bodies, as well as one of the hitch pieces. We can resize. For mine, I kind of did it it was about like 7 inches, and I think it was 8 inches. So the way to resize this is you're going to grab the whole thing, make sure it's always the whole thing, and then you can either just drag here in the corner or make sure this is locked and then resize. So if I wanted to do resize, and then to check your size here, make sure that it's going to be able to fit on your paper. And you can make this as big or as small as you'd like. And the way that I like to check my shape, so I said that it was like 8 inches. The whole thing wasn't. I want to grab a rectangle and then see how big it is in the middle. So you're going to unlock this little rectangle, and you're going to resize it just to see how big it is. And then you can resize everything again. So let's try 35. And if you go back to that rectangle, it will tell you how big the inside dimensions will be. And so my outside is about 7. So that kind of gives you a good idea of how big the inside of your tractor will be. I hope that made sense. Once you have it resized, make sure you delete that rectangle that we just made, and you can go ahead and hit make it. I cut everything out in an 80-pound cardstock. I use textured, and I like to cut everything out in fast mode with the medium cardstock setting. I did end up making my cab the same color. I made it black, so I fit everything on one page. And you can use any colors that you like. I went with like a green for like a John Deere tractor. So let's go ahead and get assembling. We are quickly going to go through me making this cow. The way I suggest doing any sort of file where you're just kind of recreating it is to keep the image up on Design Space and just looking back for reference on where to place everything. So again, I'm just going to speed through this. I used glue to attach all the pieces down and make all of the layers. There are 2 extra little pieces that attach underneath his hooves, and that just helps him stand. You can glue these on if you'd like or leave them out. So next we are going through and assembling all of our tires. This is a pretty simple process. It's 3 layers for each tire. You're going to do the black layer in the back for the tire, obviously. And then I did a shiny I did a shiny silver for the hubcap. And then I just did like kind of a matte textured paper for the top. So you'll do this for each of the tires. So you have 3 layers. For the hitches, there are 2 pieces, one with a slit and one with a score line. You will slide the one with the score line into the one with the slit. I feel like that's pretty self-explanatory, and we'll use those to attach them together. Now for our cab, you see I am folding in on all of those score lines and folding down. And then you'll see that I'm putting on some glue onto one of the flaps that was hanging over, and I'm going to attach that to the inside of the other corner. So you're kind of making like a table, I think is the best way to describe it. And you're going to do that with all 4 of the posts. That way we have this like stable cab piece that will stand inside the tractor. And I used my craft glue for this, but you can of course use hot glue if you prefer. You want it to dry a little bit faster. This craft glue that I'm using is linked in the materials and tools in that blog post, and it does dry very, very fast. So totally up to you what you want to use. So now let's get into our tractor build. So we're folding in on all those score lines, and we are going to glue the flaps in to the inside of the tractor on the sides. Don't worry about the one flap that is on the top. That's when we are going to attach our hood, which will be later on. So fold all your flaps in and then start gluing in all of your corners. For your cab top, I'm just putting a little bit of glue towards the bottom, and then I'm going to stick it into the corners. Now, this is a slight trapezoid, and you're going to fit it into the shape of the slight trapezoid bottom. So I hope that makes sense. It's kind of fatter on one end and thinner towards the front. It's not super drastic, so you do have to like give it a little look. And you're going to glue them into the corners and then on the sides of the cab. So in the front of the cab, you'll see I'm just putting it on the side and then attaching it to the wall. That's how you will attach your cab roof into your tractor. So now our final step is to add on our hood, and this is pretty simple. I'm putting on some glue, grabbing my hood. There are 2 flaps on the side that you're gonna fold down on, and I started with the attaching of the flap in the front. So that'll be on the inside, and then I glued in the 2 flaps on the outside of the hood. So they still go on the inside of the tractor, but they are on the outside of the hood. I hope that makes a little bit of sense. You don't want to see any flaps on the outside of your box. So here is our box base for the tractor, like the main part, I guess you can call it a box, right? And now we're just going to add on our little details. So you have 2 headlights, and then I have 2 racing stripe kind of things on the side, vents, I guess you can call them, that you're going to add onto the side with glue. These are optional, obviously. You can put on whatever you want. I originally had these like 2 exhaust pipes, and I just did not like the way that they turned out. So we ended up nixing those, but I'm adding on my headlights and my racing stripes, my vents onto the side. And then your tractor needs its wheels. My biggest suggestion when it comes to the wheels is you want to line up the bottoms. You can line up the tops when it comes to the trailers, but the bottoms are important when it comes to the big wheel, small wheel. So make sure you line up the bottoms, and then you can glue them down with your craft glue onto the side. And then make sure you're doing your best to line them up evenly on the other side as well, so that everything matches up. That way when you set your tractor down on the table, it isn't all wobbly and wonky. So the trailers are going to be even simpler than the tractor. So You're going to fold in on all those flaps and then glue them on the inside. And then the only thing you have to do is attach the wheels to the sides. Again, you want to line them up as evenly as possible so that they lie flat on the table. And so you're going to do this with as many trailers as you made. And these should go together relatively quickly. It's like making a box. And what I think that these could be utilized for a party if you have a farm theme is you can put little snacks inside, or you can put like little table numbers. There are different ways to utilize these. I think they're super, super cute. For the hitches, you're going to glue these to the underside. So I had the gold foil sticking up, and you're going to glue them down on each underbelly, basically. I tried to make sure that the hitch that like goes in, not the hitch with the slit, were on the same side, basically between the tractor and the trailers. But I did glue these down with some craft glue. You can use hot glue, obviously, but you want to try to center these as best as possible and glue them down to the bottom of your project. And here is our final tractor with our little cow. I loved making this. Thank you so much for joining me today as we made our 3D tractor and our cow. I hope you enjoyed creating this file. I think it'll add such a fun little piece of DIY decor to your farm themed party, or even as like a cute little piece that you make just for fun. If you enjoyed making this project, please don't forget to give this a thumbs up. It helps me so much. If you want to continue with new projects, please do not forget to subscribe and share with your crafty friends. Stay crafty!